Ooh. Guys, I'm almost finished with my big garage over there, man. I got that expanding foam. I did up all the big openings with expanding foam. I got the doorknobs on. I got the deadbolt on. I poured my concrete for that little curb. And I put the cap on the bottom of the door. Here, I'll show you guys that real fast, and I'm going to show you what I'm doing to the big dog. Now we got to fill that gap in with concrete. Then once I cut that foam off, we have to caulk it up. Got all that. So got a deadbolt on. The door cap. So, I still have to put tracks on. I haven't put the tracks on a garage yet. So we'll have to get that done. And then we can, I have to finish this before, I got to finish this before winter comes. Boy, I was coming home from work Thursday morning, and this guy in an SUV was tailgating me, man. And guys, I wanted to get out. And I wanted to kill this guy so much. I wanted to kill him so bad. You know, because I carry beer spray with me, okay? I was contemplating on getting out, going over to him, and being real nice at first. And then once he has his window down, I would whip out the beer spray and saturated his whole face with beer spray. But I didn't. I held back. I took it. And I've seen other people get tailgated like that. And I'm not talking about tailgating. I'm talking about maybe 5 feet or less off your bumper around 40 miles an hour. That's what they do here. We're going 40, 45, sometimes 50 miles an hour. Sometimes faster than that. And they're right on, they're a few feet off your bumper. That's what they do around here. And there's no police. You don't see, there's no police nowhere. Because the police around here, they only come out on call. They no longer cover the roads. So it's basically, you do whatever you want around here. It's a free-for-all. Half of these people don't have insurance. Their cars aren't inspected. So if they hit you, what do you think they do? They take off. I usually show the crime blotter around here. It shows all the hit and runs. And there's a lot of them. There's a lot of hit and runs around here. That's why, guys, I'm trying to get away from here, man. This area of Western Pennsylvania is bad news. I hope to go we can sell our house. It is bad news here. I don't know what's wrong with these people around here, but they got a severe malfunction. You know, I've been in Florida, Georgia, South, North Carolina, Virginia, New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, New Hampshire, Massachusetts. I was even in Canada, and I ain't never seen no one drive like that, like they do around here. These people around here, they have a major malfunction. So, let me show you the back fender first. Now you can see I got a pimple. There's actually more than one. There's about 5 pimples. But I think I could wet sand those down. Now once I wet sand that, it'll turn a different color. Then once we wet sand it, because we're painting that while it's on the bike, guys. Once I wet sand it, we'll wet sand that little nipple down, especially that one, and then there's those 2 small ones, those 2 there. And you know, I've tried everything, guys. I cannot get rid of that for some reason. So we'll be able to sand that down. Then once we wet sand it, I'll hit that with a clear and it'll be the same color. it'll be all the exact same color. So I got my skeleton foot pegs back on. I had to make brackets for each one of them. And we have our skeleton mirrors back on too. Now, like I told you guys before, these aren't like most people got. You know, most people have the hand. You won't see these on another motorcycle. These cost a lot of money, boy. You want to buy these? They're $500 and some a set. And you have to order them. They make them on request. You will not see these on too many bikes. There's only a handful of bikes in the world to have those on. See that little Allen key in there? That's how you can adjust the mirror. It is adjustable. I mean, you can't see much out of them, but they work. You can see cars out of them. What I'd like to do is I'd like to get that skull headlight. Now, I'm not talking about the cheap one that's a couple $100. I'm talking about the one that's $1,200. That's what I'd like to get. But I mean, this is a nice headlight. Don't get me wrong. I love the headlight. You can see that does have 3 digits. It does have 3 digits on it. So we got our amulet mirrors back on. It's like those foot pegs. Those foot pegs are $250. But yeah, that'll sand down, guys. That'll come down. That'll sand down. What I'd like to do is I want to airbrush Jesus right here, and I want to have both my Huskies right beside him, and maybe put a mountain scene in back. You know, like picture Jesus standing up in an Alaska wilderness with a Husky on each side of him. That's what I want to put on the back. And this is all done with rattle can paint, guys. That's what I painted the front fender with, man. And that's what I painted the fender with last year. This guy right here. That's the color right there. It's actually Subaru. That's a Subaru color. Let's see, you can't make it out. No, you can't make it out on here. But that's Subaru Quicksilver Metallic. That's 95% the color of the tank. Now, once I put the clear on, that will change to the rest of the fender. But which I don't have clear. I have to go buy clear. Now, the only here, let's set this down a sec. You can make professional body shop paint jobs with a spray can. It just takes more work. The automotive paint has hardener. It comes with hardener. And what the advantages of automotive paint is it's harder. The paint is harder. It dries faster. You can layer it more. It's easier to sand. You know, it's basically easier to work with. Where the rattle can, it takes a longer time for it to dry. It's like I probably have maybe 5, 6, maybe even 7 coats on that. And, you know, like every 10 minutes you can apply a coat. But it takes at least 16 hours to dry before you can wet sand it. The same thing with a clear coat. I'll use rattle can clear coat on that, an enamel, and, or no, I'm going to have to get an acrylic because I believe that's an acrylic. And that's going to take about 16 hours to dry before I could wet sand it. So it's like every time you put a coat on, you got to wait a day. But yeah, that's what I used the last time. I used paint in a spray can. And I did that to save money, because a quart of Subaru paint was like $100 and some bucks. Where the can of spray paint's only like $10. But yeah, it's the automotive paint is better. It's harder. It is harder. To where, like, when you sand that, you can sand that down with 800 grit, and you'll actually see the paint coming off like a dust. When you wet sand it. So we have to get our clear coat. We'll put the clear coat on probably tomorrow, because I'm going to let this dry tonight. Tonight I'll probably wet sand that. I'll try to wet sand that nipple down. And trust me, guys, I've tried everything, man, to get rid of those nipples. They keep on coming back no matter what I do. I even went over them. I sanded them down. I went over them with the scratch filler. I sanded that down. I primed that. When I primed it, there was no nipples. I sprayed it. Nipples came back. So we're going to wet sand those nipples down. Then we'll go over that with clear coat. We can probably buff the clear coat around where it's gonna probably get rid of that. It'll probably get rid of that once I buff it. Because I have a buffer. I have an electric buffer. And I mean, that's the only way you can really get the paint to like a mirror, is with an electric buffer. And the polishing compound, the scratch filler I have over there. So, all right. I checked my Cadillac. My Cadillac doesn't burn no oil, because I have to, we're going to be going on vacation. So I have to make sure that that's roadworthy. I have to take the Cadillac down to my mechanic. I'm going to have him take a look at the brakes and see if the brakes are, because I haven't had the brakes replaced that for like 2 years. So I'm going to tell him I'm going to be going on vacation. Can you take a look at the brakes and make sure the brakes are okay? Oh, by the way, I got a tablet, man. Wait till you guys see this tablet I got. It's a Blackwood tablet. The battery in it lasts for 60 days, guys. It has a battery. The charge lasts for 8,400 hours. That's how long the battery lasts. That's not the lifetime of the battery. That's the charge of the battery. Because the tablet I have now, it's real hard. Sorry, pardon me. It's real hard to upload any videos on this damn tablet. Because usually what I do with the GoPro, after I make a video with the GoPro, I take the SD card out of the camera, out of the GoPro, and I put it in the tablet, because I have my editing software in the tablet. And it just totally freezes up my tablet. It crashes it and crashes it and crashes it. So I bought a real good tablet. It has 250 gigabytes. It's expandable up to 2 terabytes. And that should be able to handle the videos. I should be getting that on Tuesday. That's coming in on Tuesday. So yeah, I was going to take this down to get my clear coat, but I just don't feel like it, guys. I don't feel like going nowhere right now, man. I'll get the clear coat tomorrow. Yeah, Robert, you're lucky, man, that primary chain didn't break on you. We're out on the road. Can you imagine the damage that would have caused? Oh my God! Can you imagine the damage that would have caused if that chain would have broke where you're going down a highway at maybe a 65, 70 mile an hour clip, and your primary chain breaks. That would have probably possibly destroyed the engine. I mean, that would have definitely did damage to the sprocket, maybe the clutch. Man, you are so lucky that you discovered that broke while it was on the lift. That must have just been hanging on by a thread. See, something like that happened to me with my clutch cable. When I first bought this, I think like the first 2 months after I had this, I was leaving work, and just as I left the driveway, the clutch handle, it went on me, and I said, "Oh my God, no!" I had like 8 miles to go before I go home, and I think I was in like third or fourth gear, so I had to baby it to go home. And here, the clutch cable frayed inside of the on the right side where the ramp is, where the I guess that's the clutch rod actuator, where the clutch cable goes into the actuator. It frayed in there. It was hanging on maybe by like 2 steel threads, but that's more than enough for it to stop the clutch from working. I mean, it was probably like 95% unable to work. And that's when I replaced the clutch cable. I think that was like 4 years ago. Probably about maybe 3 years and 10 months ago, I replaced the clutch cable. That's the one nice thing about Japanese motorcycles, is most of them have a hydraulic clutch. As long as the seals don't go in that clutch, you'll never have a hydraulic fluid leak, and you'll always have a working clutch. It's like my Hayabusa. My Hayabusa had a hydraulic clutch, and it never failed me. It never failed. It was a little hard to bleed, because when you make changes, then you have to bleed the hydraulic clutch just like you bleed brakes. Same thing. But I mean, if I was to choose between a hydraulic clutch and a cable actuated clutch, I would choose a hydraulic clutch any day of the week. So, okay, guys, let me give you guys one more look, man, at the mirrors. Beautiful day out here, guys. Turned into a half decent day, man.